Hi guys, welcome back to Good by Grains. I'm Alicia and today we are going to be making layered dessert cups. Now these have 3 layers, a dark chocolate layer, a homemade coconut butter layer, and then a homemade almond butter layer. Now if you don't want to make homemade almond butter or coconut butter, you can definitely look for it in the store. If you don't know how to make homemade coconut butter, you can watch one of my videos a couple weeks back. I will link it in the description box below if you want to take a look. It's really easy. So for the ingredients, we have the shredded unsweetened coconut, unsweetened coconut flakes. This isn't shredded coconut. Now this is the exact same ingredient that I used in my homemade coconut butter video, so take a look at that. I have some raw almonds that I'm going to make into homemade almond butter, and I actually season my almond butter with some cinnamon, a little bit of vanilla, and then usually a touch of salt. Any kind of salt works. I'm going to use fleur de sel because I'm also going to be using this in my dark chocolate layer. And so for that dark chocolate layer, I have a handful of these bars. This is 72% dark chocolate, and we will be sprinkling a little bit of the fleur de sel in it. The salt actually really enhances that sugar flavor without adding additional sugar. So these bars are super easy to make. You can make them ahead of time and then put them out for dessert with if you have guests over. I like to keep them in the freezer and just have one every once in a while when I'm kind of craving a little bit of that sweet treat without overloading on sugar. So, okay, so I have my melted chocolate, my homemade almond butter, and my coconut butter, my homemade coconut butter. Now, I think I've mentioned this before, but when I melt chocolate, what I do is heat it in the microwave in 30-second increments until it's about 85% of the way melted. Then I take it out of the microwave and just let it sit on the counter, and it will continue to melt the rest of the other 15% or so of the chocolate and end up making it a really nice, just very shiny and very smooth consistency, and then you don't need to worry about having your chocolate scorch and having to start over again. So this is my homemade almond butter. I'm going to add in the vanilla and a little bit of cinnamon, and then a pinch of my fleur de sel, and I'm also going to add a pinch of fleur de sel into my chocolate as well. So I can stir each of these. The almond butter is going to take a little bit more stirring just because the almond butter is quite thick because it is homemade and I don't add oil to my almond butter, so kind of stir that around. And so now we have all 3 of our different layers ready. So I have these cups. I think I've shown them before. They're just the foil baking cups with the white paper liner taken out. These are really helpful. We're going to make all of the layers in these and then put them into the fridge or the freezer if you can't wait for just about 30 minutes or so, and then you can easily just pull this away and get rid of it, and then you have your layer cups. So we will start, we're gonna do chocolate first, then the almond butter, and then the coconut butter. Now you wanna have about the same amount of each ingredient so that all the layers are roughly the same size and thickness. Now I have probably a medium-sized amount of the ingredients. You can certainly make a few less than this. If I'm going to make this many, I do want to at least have a handful that I can wrap up and store in the freezer for the future. But since just my husband and I are going to be having these, and we're not having like a party or anything that I'm making these for, I'm not making a ton. So let's get started. So for the first one, we can you want to put it on like a plate or some other type of surface that you're going to pop right into the fridge or into the freezer. So let me move this out of the way. So you're gonna do approximately a tablespoon or so of each of these ingredients, maybe slightly more than that. So you're just going to make sure your hands are clean. You're going to just kind of pour this into the bottom of this foil tray, and then you can just kind of move with your spoon around so that the melted chocolate is flat on the bottom. Let me see if I can show you that a little bit easier. But you can see it's just nice and flat. Then we are going to add a spoonful of our almond butter. And you can kind of just press that a little bit down into the center. You don't want to try to spread it out too much just because you'll end up getting chocolate everywhere, and then there also won't really be layers. The almond butter and the chocolate would kind of really start to mix. So you can kind of, let me just get a little bit off the back of the spoon onto there. So you just kind of want to put a nice little dollop right in the center, and then just kind of using your spoon, just kind of tap it sort of up and down, and then the heat from the melted chocolate will help to slightly soften the almond butter and flatten it out a little bit. And then we are going to take the coconut butter, and you want to have probably, so my coconut butter is just freshly made, so you can see just how liquidy that it is. If you want to see how I make my homemade coconut butter, you can watch one of my other videos that I did a couple months ago. I will link that down below. So this is one of my favorite things to make. It's really simple and easy. So I would hold the almond or the coconut butter over your dessert cup and just kind of drizzle it right over. And you want to do as much coconut butter as it's going to take so that you can't see the almond butter and the chocolate below, which is probably going to be a little bit more, maybe closer to 1.5 tablespoons or a little bit more than that. So once this one is done, you can just kind of move this carefully off to the side. Don't squeeze it because it is obviously not hardened yet. But now you can finish with the rest of your cups until all of your ingredients are done. Okay, so I filled all of my cups, and now I'm going to pop this into the fridge for about 30 minutes. If you really don't want to wait that long, you can certainly pop this into the freezer for about 15, and then they will be ready to take out of the foil liners. Okay, so I just pulled these out of the fridge. They were in there for about 30 minutes, and as you can see, they're no longer, like I'm pushing on it, and they're no longer flexible. So you can, all you need to do is just pull the foil off like this. Make sure you don't get it in the other cups. And as you can see, there is, let me see if I can zoom you in properly. Okay, that's a little bit better. So as you can see, there's the dark chocolate layer and the coconut butter layer, and then on the inside is the almond butter layer. So you can either keep these in the foil cups until you are ready to serve them. You can serve them in the foil cups, or else you can do what I do. I actually take them out of the foil cups and then put them into a freezer bag and then store them in the freezer. This way they don't get any frost, like frost or anything like that forming on them, or any type of film. And here's a better shot where you can see the inside. So you have the dark chocolate layer, the almond butter layer, and the coconut butter layer. So as you can see, these layered dessert cups were really easy to make. Definitely try making your own almond butter and your own coconut butter. If you don't make them the first time around, definitely try in the future. It's really nice to kind of add whatever type of additional flavors you want. I love cinnamon, and so I usually put it in a lot of my you know, dishes and stuff, especially like sweeter dishes. I also love it on sweet potatoes, things like that. It really, I think, enhances the flavor. And cinnamon's definitely one of my favorite spices. So even if you do buy homemade almond butter, definitely try kind of experimenting with some different flavors and find exactly what you like. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye.